One snapping of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a smooth.
What's up guys, Nathan Hippie here and welcome to episode number 2 in a series where I do a rundown of things I want to see in games coming out in 2015. Today I'm going to be covering Tom Clancy's The Division, Ubisoft's highly anticipated open world third person shooter RPG. Now, I imagine if you're watching this video you've seen the trailers and previews for this game and are beyond excited for its release, which is currently just a vague 2015. Judging by how little we have seen of the game, I'm not so sure it will drop this year, but I remain hopeful. Anyway, without further ado, here are the 5 things I think The Division needs to have upon its release. First on my list is character customization. I'm confident that this is almost expected by everybody in the gaming community. We haven't heard any exact details as to the depths of the customization, but I feel that the game needs to make literally everything on your agent, as they are called in game, customizable. So to differentiate your character from your friends and the random people you will encounter throughout your playtime. Most RPGs have a detailed character creation system, including the physical look of the character, and I expect nothing less from The Division. Will this game's equipment system work as it does in Destiny, with unique weapons and armour depending on your class or playstyle? I don't know. Also, we will be given the freedom to change our skills whenever necessary. Another thing I want to see on this front is detailed weapon customization akin to Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which despite its flaws I thoroughly enjoyed. I'll put a small clip in the video of what that looked like for those of you who haven't played it. It has not yet been revealed if the clothing on your character will have any significance or be customizable, but I very much hope it is, with the rarest items being military grade body armour and so on. Even that could mean a lot of characters will start to look the same in the late game, so dyes could be used to change up the colour perhaps, or they could have add-ons. Just throwing random ideas out there now. It's just that I don't have the same gear as everyone else and that would be the only viable way to play the game. The Division needs an engaging story. Destiny set the bar very low on this front and in a lot of ways they appear to be similar games in concept. In case you didn't know, the story was uninteresting, short, pointless and repetitive. Quite frankly, it was barely a story. I want something that makes me care for the characters around me. I want to feel like the things I do genuinely have an impact on the world and that the things I do mean something. The following is taken from the official website for the game titled The Mission. A devastating pandemic sweeps through New York City, and one by one, basic services fail. In only days without food or water, society collapses into chaos. The Division, a classified unit of self-supported tactical agents, is activated. Leading seemingly ordinary lives among us, the Division agents are trained to operate independently of command as all else fails, fighting to prevent the fall of society. The agents will find themselves caught up in an epic conspiracy forced to combat not only the effects of a man-made virus, but also the rising threat of those behind it. When everything collapses, your mission begins. Now that sounds pretty epic. Conspiracies and the apocalypse are 2 things I look for in games. Let's hope more is revealed very soon, and we can start to theorise what could happen throughout the campaign. The co-op and multiplayer elements of the game need to be seamless and simple. Drop in, drop out. Joining into your friend's session should be available at any time from the main menu and from an in-game menu, not taking into account private sessions and the like. In relation to story elements, it has been revealed that players will only be able to join into story missions if they are up to or beyond the same point in their individual story playthrough. I hope that makes sense. In other words, if I'm on mission 10 and you've only just completed mission 2, you won't be able to join my session as long as I am engaging in a story-related activity. For whatever reason, games with a strong multiplayer component these days seem to have unnecessarily complex invite and join systems. For the Division to be innovative and set itself apart from the highly competitive environment, the developer needs to get this right. It shouldn't be difficult to achieve. We also now have an idea of how the PvP in the Division works. There are spots called dark zones scattered across the map. I am unsure whether these are dynamic depending on story progression and whatnot, but nevertheless, these dark zones are the only areas in which PvP engagements are permitted. This is where you can battle for weapons and various supplies, as I understand. To add to my point about simple, seamless co-op, I want these PvP engagements to be balanced and fair. If I am playing with only one friend, I don't want to encounter a clan of 4 people that will clearly outgun us and steal the loot we just worked hard for. I am confident that the developers will have thought about this so as casual players don't get outnumbered by seasoned hardcore players, unless you as the player opt into such engagements as a way to earn more lucrative rewards. I also think the Division needs an interesting world outside of the main town or hub area. I'm going to reference Destiny here again because it is the game in most recent memory that I feel tried to accomplish something of what the Division will be attempting when it's released. One of my main issues with Destiny was the massive lack of content and immersion once you had landed on a planet. Yes, they had side missions which they called patrol missions, but quite frankly they were a joke. Collect so many of this material, kill this many enemies, blah blah blah, and the landscape was completely barren. Void of any life other than things you had to kill, no NPCs to interact with at all. The Division needs to let the player engage with NPCs in the open world on the fly. Survivors walking around with useful hints and rumours perhaps, as well as actual characters that provide you with engaging side missions and actually make the world feel lived in, despite the man-made apocalypse. The world needs a purpose beyond making it the place you go to do main story missions. Almost every game that releases these days has a progression system of sorts, and for a good reason. But what I want here is a progression system that truly stands out. When you attach the RPG genre to something, that often means the developers want hundreds of hours to be put into the game by each player. So a good progression system is key to keeping players enthused. A good example of what not to do in this area is showcased in the newly released game, Evolve. Every time I hear someone talk about that game, all I hear is how bad and unnecessary the progression system is, because so little is available to you when you first start playing. It makes the game feel limited and forces the player to play a certain way if they want to progress at all. I imagine that the Division is a little late on in development for them to rethink the entire progression system, but I hope the developers take note so they can avoid such problems. What we do know is that players will be encouraged to go down a certain route in a skill tree depending on their individual playstyle, so they become more and more effective in that role. The developers believe that the holy trinity of class setups will be the most efficient way to play. What I mean by that is, as in most RPGs, a balanced team is often the best. In this case, an example of a balanced team would be one player focused on dealing out the damage, another supporting the team, and another acting as a healer of sorts. So Ubisoft, I want to see progression in every aspect of the experience, single player, co-op and PvP. A fleshed out clan system seems a perfect fit for the Division 2 with all the emphasis on co-op in all the previews we've seen. Clan leaderboards as well as individual leaderboards would be nice. Clan extraction success rate after completing high value missions. Kill to death ratio versus human opponents in these dark zones I spoke about earlier. I'm a sucker for all that crap. I just have one more thing I want to include on this list. Call it a bonus thing that this game needs. Ubisoft, this game needs to work. Simple as. I want so badly for it to be functional out of the box. A day one update is fine and dandy, as long as I can instantly jump online, not get disconnected from the servers, easily play with my friends and don't lose any progression after putting hours into the game. We only have to look at the recent plethora of releases that have been a shambles at launch now the developers think they can get away with releasing a broken, unfinished game. To name a few, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Drive Club, Assassin's Creed Unity, and a bit further in the past, GTA Online, SimCity and Battlefield 4 all spring to mind. That rounds off the short list of things I want to see and I think need to be in Tom Clancy's The Division. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below with your thoughts and wishes for the game. In the next episode I will be covering GTA Heists, which come out on the 10th of March. Let me know which games you want me to cover in future episodes and I will try to get round to them. Thanks for watching and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. This has been Nathan Hippie and I'll see you in the next one.